Hi, today we are recording our first podcast. I'm super excited for this new venture. Um, it's been 4 years since we are launching a new podcast. The first episode to introduce this podcast is called "Why I Started Figuring It Out." In this first episode, hello, hello. Hey, and welcome to Figuring It Out. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance you're in a season of your life where things just feel uncertain. Maybe you're changing careers, like I am. Maybe you're in school and questioning your choices. Maybe you're doing everything right and still feel behind. And honestly, that's exactly why this podcast exists. Because I don't actually know anyone who has life completely figured it out. First generation college student and no idea what I was gonna do with my life, but go to college, right? But I know a lot of people who pretend they do, and that's okay. I think we gotta figure it out, and you make it happen. So let's talk a little bit about figuring it out. And welcome back to Figuring It Out. My name is Manuel, and I am your MC for the day and for this episode. For a long time, I thought I was the only one who felt confused about where I was going in life. I'd look around and see people getting promotions, buying houses, getting degrees, traveling the world, and that's okay. I was in a place like that, and I think we all deserve that, right? And I kept thinking, am I missing something? Is there a manual that everyone else got except me? On the outside, things looked fine, but internally, I was constantly questioning myself. And I realized something that really struck me, that really resonated very, very closely with me. Most people aren't confident because they have all the answers. They're confident because they're comfortable moving forward without all the answers. That's a skill. And I didn't have it yet. I still think I don't. I'm a student for life. So this podcast is me learning that skill in real time with you in this journey together. And welcome back. It wasn't one huge dramatic moment that changed everything. As I think about it, it was more like a collection of small realizations that kept piling up. I used to tell someone that when you internalize things, you really are putting yourself in a really corner, in a very, very tight corner that you want to realize how do you want to get out of it sooner than you got it. Moments where I'd be sitting somewhere at work, at home, at school, scrolling on my phone, and thinking, is this really it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Regular 9 to 5 job, every day, regular things. That's it. And not in a negative way. I think I was achieving a lot of things for my age and, my demographic and, just who I am and where I came from in my upbringing. But there's a lot of things that I began to question. Started noticing how often we tie our worth to milestones, a job title, a salary, a degree, relationship status, luxury, accolades, all those symbols that just don't mean much for the long term, but just for the short term. And when you don't hit that milestone or those milestones on the timeline you imagine, especially when you have such a concrete thought that everything has to go this way, and if not, there's nothing else. It can feel like you're falling behind in a race that nobody actually explained to you. I remember comparing myself constantly to others, friends moving ahead in their careers, people online celebrating achievements, and I'd feel happy for them, but also quietly wondering why my journey felt so slow or so delayed. What I didn't realize then was that growth doesn't always look impressive while it's happening. Sometimes it looks like uncertainty, sometimes it looks like rest, sometimes it looks like starting over. And starting over can be scary, but it can also be powerful and overwhelming and empowering too. So we're back. This podcast isn't about pretending to be an expert. I'm not an expert at all. Just simple college graduate with a degree who has experiences in certain areas that I think are really noteworthy, especially my experience being in HR and have a good background and knowledge and understanding of different scopes and different environments. So this podcast is really about support. I'm not here to lecture or act like I've mastered life. Like I said before, I'm a student for life and I'll continue to be, but this is more like a journal out loud, a conversation, a space where we can be honest about growth without dressing it up to look perfect. Because growth isn't always aesthetic, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's slow sometimes. And I wanted a space where it's okay to say, I'm still learning, I made a mistake, or I made mistakes, I changed my mind, or I changed my path, and I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. We don't hear that enough. And, I think it's always okay to take a pause and a moment to reflect and internalize what you've achieved rather than waiting for others to tell you that. We hear success stories at the finish line, but we rarely hear what it sounded like in the middle. This podcast is about the middle, the messy middle, the in between reasons, the questions, the trial and error. And if you're someone who feels like you're in a transition right now, career change, school, relationships, identity, confidence, this space is for you too. You don't have to be certain to move forward. You should have to be willing and open minded to keep learning and growing. All right, we're back. Let's keep on the dialogue. So here's what you can expect from figuring it out. Some episodes will just be me reflecting, sharing lessons, talking through experiences in real life, real time. Other episodes will include conversations, hopefully with other guests, friends, professionals, people from different walks of life perspectives, talking about how they navigated uncertainty and growth. We'll talk about things like confidence, career shifts, discipline and motivation, handling rejection, mental reset, mental health, financial lessons, and honestly, the people don't always post online or the stuff that people don't always post online. So those conversations that we hold back will hopefully be open here. Nothing here is about perfection. It's about progress, small steps, perspective shifts, learning as we go. And the goal isn't to have all the answers. The goal is to ask better questions. And welcome back once again. My name is Manuel, and I'm your MC for the day for this episode of Figuring It Out. So as we journey together actually in this world. I hope to talk about different topics, different ideas that will help us grow and connect, but also value each other too. Value what we have, and aspire to be better. If there's one thing that I'm learning right now, it's that life isn't something you solve once and then you're done. It's something you keep adjusting, keep exploring, keep growing through and through. And being in a phase of figuring it out doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're evolving. And being in a phase of figuring it out doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're evolving. So wherever you are right now, starting something new, questioning your direction, rebuilding, or just searching for clarity, you're not alone. The space is for honest growth, no pressure to have it all together, no pretending, just progress, one lesson at a time. Thank you for being here. And if you're figuring things out too, you're exactly where you need to be. And this is figuring it out. This is just the beginning. Hello, hello. Hey, and welcome to Figuring It Out. If you're listening to this, there's a good chance you're in a season of your life where things just feel uncertain. Maybe you're changing careers like I am. Maybe you're in school and questioning your choices. Maybe you're doing everything right and still feel behind. And honestly, that is exactly why this podcast exists. Because